Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming my contour and highlight routine using some of the new Fenty products. I know it's a little soon for it to be part of my routine, but literally I got the contour stick. Out of all the products that I got from Fenty, my favorite by far is the contour stick. It's just such a good product. It blends so seamlessly. This is my new go-to contour product, so I decided to do a updated contour and highlight routine for my channel because the last time that I did a contour and highlight, I believe it was like 2 years ago, so that's a little outdated. If you guys want to see how I contour and highlight my face using cream and powder products, please keep watching. All right, so I did my eye makeup off camera because this is a contour and highlight video, so I want to focus just on the face. I did not grab the Fenty Beauty primer. Primers don't really call my attention, but I have seen a few good reviews on it saying that it feels like a moisturizer. So I think I might go back to Sephora and grab it. But for now, I'm using my regular NYX Angel Veil primer. And I just like to focus that in the areas where my pores are most visible, which is kind of like this area right here, my nose, my chin, and my forehead. And then I just put any remainder extra product everywhere else. All right, so after primer, I'm going to apply my foundation. The packaging does say shake it very well. So just shake it a little bit, pump a little bit. Where's my beauty blender? Oh. On the back of my hand. And I'm going to be applying this with my beauty blender. I went out on Saturday and on Sunday, and both days I did this routine, and I was literally obsessed. I love this foundation. It has really good coverage. It covers everything that it needs to cover, but it still feels like skin. And it's very, very surprisingly light for a matte foundation. I feel like matte foundations typically feel heavy on the skin. They're more thick in consistency, so I really like that.
It's way better than this. Yeah, where is it? All
right, so now that we are done with foundation, I'm going to go straight into contouring, and I'm going to be using my TV has been on this whole time. Oh my god. Okay, so I already have my foundation on, so I can't start the video over again, so sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to be using the color Truffle from the Fenty Beauty line, and I am just going to contour the outsides of my face. So I'm gonna do a little bit on the forehead, or a lot. This is a lot of product. You can definitely get away with using a lot less product, but I'm going for like a full coverage look here, so I'm gonna overdo it. Down here. Very important if you have a double chin. I saw someone review this and complain that the stick was too stiff, that it wasn't creamy enough, and I actually find that as a positive. I feel like sticks that are too creamy can get really messy. I feel like the fact that this is a little stiff, it gives you a lot more control as to like how far you want to take the product and how you're gonna blend it. All right, so I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend out my concealer. All right, so now I'm gonna use my e.l.f. small stipple brush to blend out the contour. So then I'm gonna take my beauty blender and blend out all of those edges. The beauty blender really does help diffuse the product a lot more, and it blends the contour and the highlight together. To me, this is the most important part of contouring and highlighting. It's using the brush and the beauty blender together. And if you're a beginner, I feel like it really is helpful to use both, because sometimes I find that when I use the beauty blender on its own, it can get a little messy and it brings the product to places where you don't want it. For example, sometimes it could bring the contour a little bit down too low, and if your contour comes down here to this area of your face, it actually makes your face look fatter, because the point of contouring is to make your face look thinner. So when you put your contour color right where the hollows of your cheeks are, it makes your face look thinner. If your contour rides down to below your hollow, it makes your face look fatter. So it's really important to control the product and put it exactly where it needs to go. So I like this brush because you can buff it out in place and kind of keep it where you need it. And then you use the beauty blender to do its magic and kind of blend out all the edges and make sure that nothing, that everything is seamless. All right, so now that my contour and highlight is all blended in, I am going to use one of the highlight sticks by Fenty Beauty as well. I honestly just bought it just to try it out, but you can use just regular concealer. I'm just going to use it for the sake of the video. You can live without this. You can just use your regular concealer. But the contour stick you need. And I'm using the color Linen in the highlight stick. And then I'm just going to use a beauty blender to buff this out. This product is really nice. It blends out well. It's not too creamy. It's not too stiff. So I am going to add a little more contour to my nose. I do love a thin looking nose. So I'm just going to add a little bit more and let it set. Alright, so now that everything is nice and blended and there's no harsh lines anywhere, we are going to start setting everything with powder. Whenever you put any cream products on your face, you want to make sure that you put powder over it, especially if you're going to go out somewhere where you're going to be sweating, or if you're going to be spending all day with your makeup on. You want to make sure that you always put a powder over a cream so that it stays in place and it doesn't move. Alright, so to set my contour, I'm going to be using my Benefit Hoola bronzer. This is my favorite bronzer. And I'm going to add this everywhere that I added the contour cream. Edges of the face. Alright, so now that we are done with bronzer, we are going to set the under eye area. And I'm going to be using my RCMA No Color Powder. So near your nose, you want to make sure that you get just the sides of your nose. Don't bring the powder into the contour because it'll make it look off. I just messed up my wing, but I can fix that. And then I just like to set this right here, my smile lines, because my foundation creases so bad into my smile lines when I smile. And then I just like to put a little bit everywhere that we added highlight. And then if your contour line is ever a little messy, you can go ahead and clean it up with this as well. And you can just use the very edge of your sponge to make sure you don't mess up the contour. Okay. All right, so while that's set, I'm going to apply my lipstick. Buff all of this away. I'm also going to finish up my under eye makeup off camera, and I will be right back. So with a more precise angled brush, I'm going to go in with my bronzer and kind of just like go into that hollow a little bit with the bronzer, and that's going to make the contour pop even more. And this is really if you want like a really popping contour. Like if you prefer something a little more natural, you can skip the step. So with the same brush that I used for that, I'm going to go ahead and add blush. I am using Luminoso by Milani, and I'm just going to add that in the apples of my cheeks. So I did get one of the highlighters from Fenty Beauty. I got the Killawatt Duo Lighting Dust and Fire Crystal. These are so hard to open. I feel like it's gonna break my nail. every time I try. And I just like to dip the side of the brush like this, tap off all the excess, and then put that in the high point of your face. So the top of the cheekbones. All right, so when I tried this out in the store, it looked a lot more like white gold on me, which is what called me to it, and I wanted to get it. But in real light, it looks more pinkish on me, and I don't really like pinkish highlighters. So I'm going to go in with DesixKaty Fuego from Dose of Colors. Same brush, and then I'm just going to add that over the top. And with this one, we're going to go in. All right, so now we're using Fuego. I'm kind of mad that I used that Fenty one first because it's kind of killing my vibe with Fuego, but I'm gonna use a different brush. So I'm gonna use this brush by Morphe to highlight. And kind of, okay, see, now we're talking. To be really careful with highlighting though. If you have any blemishes, any pimples, any like creases in your face in this area, you want to make sure that you're avoiding putting highlighter. For example, I have 1, 2, 3 little pimples there, which I'm going to avoid. I'm just going to put the highlighter up here and around it, so that it doesn't stick up more. When you put highlighter on top of a pimple or on top of a blemish, it actually highlights it, amplifies it, and it makes it look more like, it makes it look brighter. And I like to put some on my Cupid's bow, but I use my finger. A little bit on the forehead, not too much. And with my pinky finger out of my nose. Using a small pencil brush, I am going to take the same Fuego highlighter and highlight the inner corner of the eye. And now with a stipple brush, I'm just going to bring that out to my face, make sure that everything looks good and blended and seamless. And the last step in this is a setting spray. And the setting spray really just ensures that your makeup stays on all day and doesn't move. So this is the finished result. This is my contour and highlight routine. I really hope that this was easy to follow if I have any beginners with me. That was the intention of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.